mode.
Good afternoon. Welcome, everybody. This is Peter from AddShoppers, and today we are going to talk about 6 ways to rock mobile marketing in 2017. Really excited about this webinar presented by AddShoppers and Power Digital. Real quick, before we jump into this, a couple of housekeeping notes. This webinar is being recorded, so if you have to jump out early or anything like that, you will get a copy of the recording that you can use, replay, pass around with anybody else that might be interested. House note number 2, any questions that you guys have as we go through, please do not hesitate to drop those in the Q&A box. We will be handling questions at the end. And I think that's pretty much it. So let me go ahead and introduce today's presenters. Over there on the left, that's me. My name is Peter Messmer. I am the Director of Growth at AddShoppers, and really happy to be here, like I said. And I am joined by Ryan Larkin, who is the Paid Media Account Manager at Power Digital Marketing, and Antonio Johnson, who is the Director of SEO at Power Digital Marketing, and by far and away the owner of the best hair of any of us presenters. So welcome to both of you guys. Let me go ahead and jump into the agenda today. So we're going to start off. I'm going to, in a couple minutes, I'm going to hand it over to them, and they're going to kick it off. Power Digital is talking about paid ads, micro moments, and mobile first index. And then after that, I'll take over and talk about personalization, on-site strategy, and social media. So that is what you guys have to look forward to today. Really excited about that. Let me tell you guys a quick little bit about AddShoppers, just so you're a little familiar with who we are and what we do if you're not already. So AddShoppers is the leading on-site marketing platform for commerce, and everything we do stems from a simple belief that on-site marketing should be as agile and powerful as email marketing. You can see some of our clients there at the bottom, including The Economist, Hanes, Le Creuset, Moscot. And yeah, that's basically a quick introduction to us. And now I am going to hand it over to Power Digital, Ryan and Antonio, and they will introduce you guys to their company, and they will take it from there.
Sounds great, guys. All right, so let us go ahead and get set up over here. Make sure we're good to go. All right. So again, really appreciative to be here. Really thankful to be here, guys. Thanks for taking out the time to join us on today's session. My name is Antonio. I'm here with my counterpart, Ryan Larkin, and we're from Power Digital Marketing. We're an agency out here in San Diego, specifically in Old Town, San Diego, California. We're a full-service agency out here. We really are, pride ourselves on being data-driven and really excited to take on the opportunity to tell you guys a little bit about where our heads have been leading up into the end of 2016 and where we really see, the best opportunity for success from a mobile perspective leading into 2017. So to kick things off, it's always great to have an understanding of the history of where we've come to better predict where we're going to go in the future here. And getting to this, what we would coin as the mobile first world here. This is truly something that began dating all the way back to 2013 or even as far back as 2012, but taking a more near-term perspective as to what's been going on in the industry. We see dating back all the way to 2015. That's really when we started to see the first signs of mobile-friendly sites, and really that's starting to play a role in the search algorithm here. Reading down this list, you see that there are a lot of touch points throughout 2015 showing the emphasis that Google placed on putting mobile to be a leading factor for search. You see that probably 5 major events going on there in 2015. As we get in towards the end of 2015 and into 2016, this is where we really start to see some big changes. We see accelerated mobile pages announced. We see AMP news carousels going live in the search, so in the search engine results page. And then we also saw in 2016 that those AMP pages were no longer only for news publishers. And although the success of AMP today is a little bit arguable, this was a clear indicator of the move towards putting an emphasis on mobile. And we see that come to fruition towards November of 2016, where we really started to see the mobile first index start to get tested. And even as recently as this month, dating back to about 2 weeks ago, we see the mobile interstitials penalty roll out for Google here, and we'll kind of touch on each of these or touch on what this really means here in the near term. But this is just really to show that beyond the data here, showing that of people out there have their smartphones at their side day and night, we see that Google has been getting ahead of the curve here in terms of being able to cater to a mobile-first world. So that leads us to micro moments. Really, what is a micro moment? And for those of us, for those that aren't quite aware, this is really something that was coined by Google, and it's really defined by instances where consumers expect brands to address their needs with real-time relevance. Another way to say that is that these are critical touch points within the consumer journey that work together to help determine how that journey ends. Ideally in a sale, in a lead, or in some sort of engagement that helps us push the buyer or the consumer towards that journey. And it could really be broken into kind of 3 mantras. You want to be there for individuals when they're searching for information. You want to be useful, again, depositing more into that informational space rather than withdrawing, asking for a sale or asking for a lead, and also be quick. Mobile, a big success portion of that would have to do with how quickly you're serving your pages to mobile visitors here. But all in all, those 3 elements play together to kind of capitalize on the intent, the content, the context, and the immediacy needs of searchers out in the world, and that is really coined by micro moments here. And these terms here on the right that we're looking at, I want to know, I want to go, I want to do, I want to buy, again, coined by Google here, but they all make a lot of sense. And we'll touch on these in more detail here, but some numbers to support the notion that these type of searches are worth putting our time into and worth putting eggs into that basket are as such. Over half of smartphone users have discovered a new company or product while searching on smartphones. Makes a lot of sense. I want to go. There's been a 2x increase in near me searches just in this last year. I want to do searches, and YouTube is a big proponent in this. Looking up how-to videos has actually grown year over year about 70% here. And I think for those of us who know, YouTube is the 2nd largest search engine that's out there. So a lot of weight there in terms of why we should put emphasis in that arena. And then lastly, I want to buy moments. I think these are clearly pretty deep funnel instances that we want to capitalize on. And I think in reality, most of digital marketing has been focused on these I want to buy moments. It's really that end last touch moment. Where we're going to find success is being able to broaden our horizons and find unique ways to cater to these I want to do, I want to go, I want to know moments, not just in general, but specifically for mobile users. And we'll touch on exactly how we could do that here throughout these slides. All right, so looking at search in a mobile-first world. Again, I alluded to the mobile-first index here, and over time, Google has realized that most searches are being conducted over mobile, but the index is pretty much geared towards a desktop serving here, desktop indexing. And really, in order to fix this issue that they've had going on, Google has started to roll out this mobile-first index here. And what that means really is that they're going to look at the content. They're going to look at the links, the structured data of the mobile version of your site first to index in the search results before actually looking at your desktop version. And really, this is only if there is a mobile version that exists. And again, we'll allude or elaborate on that a little bit more. But just looking at some of the data that's been provided here, in the last year alone, we saw over 20% increase in mobile share of online sessions and an 18% decrease in time spent per visit. This tells me 2 things. One, obviously mobile is taking a bigger chunk of that screen time online, and also the sessions and the individual moments in which individuals are staying online and looking for information and browsing the web is decreasing due to that widening of mobile users on the web here. So there's a lot of reasons why we need to take both of those data points into consideration here. But one thing to take away from this with the mobile first index is there are a lot of questions with my clients, with friends, family who are in this space is what do we need to do when this mobile first index comes out and when it finally comes to fruition? How can we get ahead of the ball here? And in my opinion, it really falls back to your mobile setup. If you have a responsive design, I think you're in a good place. Typically, these would translate the content from the desktop version to the mobile version, one-to-one transference. So there aren't many concerns in terms of how we should be restructuring our site as this mobile-first index rolls out. But as we all know, that's not always the ideal situation for all sites, and it's not the all and be all for most websites out there. So if you are using a dynamically serving design or have a separate M.dot version or mobile version of your site, there are a few things that you want to look at. You want to make sure that the structured markup for both the desktop and mobile version are congruent. You do want to verify that the mobile version is accessible to Googlebot. So make sure you're not blocking any of the mobile pages via your robots file. Make sure you're not using any sort of meta robots codes on individual pages to block Googlebot from crawling. And then lastly, you want to be able to add and verify that mobile site in Search Console. And I think this is something that's often overlooked. I've seen many websites when clients get to us where maybe they have their primary version claimed in Search Console, but they don't have their www version. They don't have their secure hypertext protocol version. They don't have the non-secure version, and so on and so forth. So this is another consideration to take into mind when and as you build out your mobile site here. But I think the take-home message here is, I think the easiest method for adhering and finding success in the mobile-first index is having that responsive design. But if you're not quite there yet, and you feel like you're going out on a limb to build a responsive design that isn't quite that final product that you want to put out there, hey, put your resources back into the desktop version, make that as reliable as possible, and when the time is out that stunning, visually appealing, thumb-stopping version of your mobile site.
Cool. Sweet. So with that, we'll get into mobile in AdWords. This has consistently been a hot topic for ever since mobile was a thing and ads were released to the platform. It's very important to understand that when we speak to a user on their mobile device, via when they're on their desktop, we definitely want to use different messaging. People on their mobile are typically on the go, usually much shorter sessions, not as potentially engaged as they would be on a desktop. So we want to make sure that we're speaking to them really concise, very clearly, and usefully, as Antonio mentioned. So in the past, or currently in the present, we do have access to what's called mobile preferred ads. So basically, with the click of a button, you can basically arrange an ad for your search advertising that speaks directly to a mobile user. In the example we have here, quick mobile form in the bottom right-hand side there, very easy to customize, set up, etc., etc. Again, you see the device preference, click for mobile. So that basically tells Google AdWords that we're not going to try to serve this ad on desktop at all. This is just going to be a mobile exclusive ad, and that's all well and good. But unfortunately, those are being sunsetted in lieu of expanded text ads. Expanded text ads were released back in, I believe, June of 2016 with mobile in mind. In Google's eyes, and rightly so, the world is becoming more and more a mobile place. And we are trying to more and more show people mobile ads to take advantage of that. Now, expanded text ads do allow us to speak a little bit more completely to a user. We are now able to serve 30-character headlines, 2 of them, and then an 80-character description, which for AdWords users is a godsend. But again, that is coming at the expense of standard text ads, which means no more mobile preferred ads. Luckily, something that Google also did is brought back device-specific bidding. So in the past, we've been able to leverage, computer bidding, or desktop bidding, mobile bidding, tablet bidding, et cetera, and that kind of went out the door. Google sort of quietly sunsetted that feature a few years back. But as of a couple of months ago, they brought it back, and I think that was in response to the fact that they are sunsetting standard ads, and we will no longer be able to quickly and efficiently speak to a mobile user. So now we can create multiple campaigns. So if you do have a set of branded keywords in a branded campaign, we can now split that into 3 different campaigns, each one containing various ad groups that speak to different device users. So bid up on the computer users, and then bid down on the rest of them to speak to a desktop-centric audience, and vice versa with mobile and tablet. So that's a cute little workaround. We're starting to liberally roll that out to our clients. As I said, the standard text ads are going to no longer be viable as of the 31st of this month. So just a quick heads up there. Also, with speaking to mobile users, it's very important to understand that there have been a lot of movement with ad extensions. Ad extensions are critical in terms of really generating a high CTR, keeping ad relevance high, and that all-important ad rank high as well. So one thing that's relatively new within, I'd say, the last several months here is price extensions. As you can see in the example here, we can quickly give a user a price comparison. This kind of is Google's answer to, I'd say, more service-centric price comparison shopping, and it works wonders. Every client that we've rolled this out on has seen a tremendous increase in mobile CTR, so highly recommend this one. The next, this is kind of a long-standing feature, location extensions. I won't go into this too much, but basically if you're a brick-and-mortar store, this will give your exact location to the end user in an ad. As you can see, directions, and then this specific ad also has a call extension set up, so they work beautifully in tandem together. Affiliate extensions. This is something we're really excited about. So this basically allows you to opt into a feature where, say you are running AdWords ads for Kleenex. So a few affiliates that are opted into the program as a use case here are CVS and Target. So if I'm in San Diego and I search for Kleenex, an ad is going to show up and it's going to give me the nearest location of a CVS or Target. So it is in hopes of increasing foot traffic to the chains that sell your brand or product. And again, it just increases that dominance of the search engine results page, increases the quality score, really adds a lot of benefit to your ad. Call extensions, obviously, if you are a B2B business, or value calls to your business whatsoever, this is a no-brainer. You should have been using this for quite some time now, and if not, do get on the train. And in that same note, message extensions. So in the last couple months, actually, this was rolled out globally. So this is a new feature within AdWords, something that we're very, very excited about. We're going to start rolling out here to as many clients as we possibly can. We do live, obviously, now, as we've been saying, in a mobile world. And what do people do mobily? They text. So logically, for Google, this makes a lot of sense. People don't necessarily want to jump on calls all the time. People are living in fast-paced environments. They have lives. They need to do stuff. And they don't have time to sit on a call for 5-10 minutes. Texting, as it turns out, takes 5 seconds. Which is a huge benefit, and we're very excited to see how this performs. We've only rolled it out for a couple clients yet, and we're still 2 weeks, so it's hard to say if it's super successful. We have seen definitely some conversions fall through, but we do think this is going to be a game changer for clients moving forward.
All right, cool. Great. So, I mean, that's a great slide to end on, or I guess transition into how to win micro moments, and specifically with those message extensions. I mean, that is a clear, opportunity, I think, for us to get in front when consumers or searchers are raising their hand and asking for information, but haven't quite taken us into the consideration phase here. So that's like one great example of how we could be there along for the customer journey. But I guess the question that comes to mind is why? Why do we need to do that? And in today's world, mobile, laptops basically sitting in your pocket at any given time, there's instant accessibility to nearly everyone out there, every consumer out there, to be taken away from your brand, to be taken away from your product, and to be swayed at different points along the customer journey. And really, we need to find ways to capitalize on opportunities to introduce our brand to potential customers, and doing that early on in the buyer's journey. Why? Because that's what's really going to put us in the driver's seat here. And in reality, you know, search marketing on the whole needs to be more integrated, all the way from your PR and content to social, all the way up to SEM and PPC. You know, we need to be talking between those channels and communicating, you know, what are those nuances and what are those moments that we could identify and optimize for when our audience is engaged via mobile. And over on the right are some tips that I have and on how to capitalize on mobile visitors and how to build strategy around them. And it really begins with getting understanding of the data, not only of the data and the moments when the audience actually engage via mobile, but also get an understanding of those intent signals. You know, definitely depending on where you are in the buyer's journey and on what device you are will play a large role in terms of what the intent is behind those words. And I think something as search practitioners that is easily forgotten is that, you know, it's great to look at search volume and it's great to look at conversion rates and all of that in search terms, but we often forget that there's a person behind all of those search terms, and that person and what they're searching for and their intent may vary from you know, their neighbor next door who would be conducting the same search. So we really have to get a granular understanding of what those intent signals are, you know, based on device, based on region, based on channel even here. And then be able to create that mobile-specific content that would actually resonate on a small screen. And you know, really what I mean by that is having content that loads quickly on a cell phone, having content that is easily read on a mobile phone, and also having content that is engaging and has thumb-stopping imagery on there for someone who may be reading through mobile here. And then along with that, we want to be able to usher along consumers along that buyer's journey with storytelling and being able to capitalize on the various micro moments along that journey. And then, you know, the last one I have in here is really making sure we optimize for speed. I don't know about any of our listeners out there, but for myself, especially on my mobile phone, if a site takes more than 2 seconds, I would say, I'm gone. There's no way I'm really clicking through that site. If I really want that product, I might give it another shot, give it another opportunity to load quickly. But that's my first signal in terms of security and trust. If they can't maintain a quick site speed for their mobile visitors and don't have the technical prowess to provide and serve pages at a very fast, in a fast manner, I'm probably not willing to punch my credit card information in there or give my personal information simply because I know the landscape of search right now. And even for those that are not working in this industry, I'd say the same holds true. We're just too educated nowadays. But let's break down what those micro moments really look like. And we alluded to these various type of moments early on in this presentation, but we wanted to take a closer look at some of these I want to know, I want to do, I want to go, and so on and so forth moments. And this is a great example, how to fix scratches on a car for an I want to know moment. And we pulled this out really because it has elements of both, you know, SEM and SEO in here. At the top you see kind of, you know, purchase or ads that are being served to that searcher that are kind of taking it into your own hands on how to fix scratches on a car. But just below that, and kind of where I really hang my hat on, is the answers box. Popular Mechanics, obviously a very reputable outlet for anything auto-related, has a 6-step answer box here that gives information on how to fix those paint scratches. Each of these, I guess, cards that are being served in the SERPs capitalize on different moments in the buyer's journey, but still have a I want to know element playing into it. And you know, likely I would say that organic search box there would speak more to kind of someone being more top of the funnel, trying to get an understanding if they could even take on a task like this, what goes into fixing car scratch, and if it's possible on a personal level. And as we look at the you know, those products just above it, this is likely someone who's maybe gone through the effort of reading articles on how to fix paint scratches, or maybe has done it before and is just looking for a new product to support them in their efforts here. So again, this is a great juxtaposition of both SEM and SEO here, and how they could both play a role for capitalizing on these moments at different points in the buyer's journey.
Yeah, and this little infographic that we have on the right basically paints a picture of how people are addressing the I want to know moments. And as we can see, 81% of that is within search. So as Antonio also alluded to, not taking advantage of this just with paid search advertising, but also developing a strong organic strategy around that can really pay off in dividends.
Absolutely.
Awesome. And that leads us right into the I want to go moments. Really simple concept, right? The example I have here, where's the nearest taco shop? I'm hungry. It's lunchtime. I'm trying to get some food in my belly. This is a very obvious one. And you can do this in a couple different ways. Obviously, increasing that organic presence is definitely something that we're going to harp on. But also, you can use location extensions here as well. And that's going to be a huge benefit. The other example here is Bob's Red Mill, products near me. This is a great example of how you can use an ad to take advantage of that foot traffic to an affiliate location. So these I want to go moments can definitely and very easily be monetized with the right mindset and with the right approach.
Absolutely, and one key piece of data here is we're saying Google's showing that 71% of smartphone users say they've used a store locator to find a store. I think probably everyone on this webinar has used that before. And even in the snapshot that we have here, look at the real estate that's being occupied by this single brand. Between the partner that we have with Walmart there at the bottom, obviously has their own locations, but being able to host a store finder on Bob Redmill's domain, and also serve that as an ad extension near the top of the search, so that pretty much all of the above the fold content in these search results are pointing back to Bob's Red Mill in one way or another. So this is a great example case of all channels, whether it's partnerships, affiliates, SEO, and SEM, all working together to get someone into a store and purchasing a product. And then, this is another great example of how we could capitalize on these micro moments. I want to do, YouTube is my #1 professor over the last decade here, teaching me how to do everything from, how to build a coffee table from pallets up to making waffles. I'm a huge Belgian waffle fan, right? But, one thing to keep in mind here is that YouTube is the second largest search engine out there. And being able to translate the perspective of a company in the eyes of a consumer from a leading resource in terms of information and how to achieve what you want to achieve and what you want to learn, all the way up to actually purchasing those products is the end all and be all when it comes to ushering someone along the way on the buyer's journey. And obviously, 91% of users on smartphones, turn to their smartphone when looking at a given task. So, I mean, that's a clear indicator that we need to be there for those who are not quite at that stage of wanting to invest or maybe engage with our product, but are definitely operating in this space and want to learn more about not necessarily what we have to offer, but what is what the task at hand that they have here. Do you have anything there?
No, I think that covers it. Cool. Awesome. And then, very bottom of the funnel here is the transactional I want to buy moments. This graph really paints a pretty clear-cut picture of e-commerce sales via mobile within the last couple years, and some estimations as it goes forward throughout 2017, 18, and 19. Personally, an anecdotal story, if you will, I've been doing paid search marketing for the better part of 5 years now. We didn't really see a whole lot of e-commerce transactional data come through, I'd say, until the tail end of 2015. And around that time, around the holiday season, in a lot of our campaigns, we started seeing phenomenal growth mobily. And that trend has been a constant. As of today, I'd say that's definitely something you can't sleep on as an AdWords advertiser. You really have to make sure that if you're advertising, an e-commerce brand, you definitely want to capitalize on that mobile presence, because people are more and more buying on their mobile devices. So a word of the wise there, definitely make sure that you have some ad representation on the top of the SERP to really take advantage of it.
Awesome. Cool. So we'll go ahead and pass this back over.
All right, thanks, guys. I'm just pulling it up again on my side. Really, really cool stuff. All right. Okay. All right. Looks like I have it pulled up, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So this is Peter again, obviously from AddShoppers, and I will kick this portion off by talking about one of the things that I don't really think you can get away from whenever you're talking about mobile devices, and that is social media. Obviously, anybody you see just walking around holding their smartphone, there's a good chance they're on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or Snapchat or something like that. So whenever we talk about mobile, the discussion really isn't complete until you touch a little bit on social. So really, we see social and mobile as being kind of like the perfect combination, or something that the combination of those two touches a large percentage of any shopper journey now in 2017. And I thought a really good way to illustrate this would basically just be to show you guys, like, here's what a shopper journey looks like in 2017. It's not, see a post on Facebook and then somebody buys, or someone types in your website and then they buy. There's usually many steps, many different touch points that go from awareness to purchase, and even then down to retention and advocacy. So here's kind of an example shopper journey. Obviously, there's no one combination. There's an infinite combinations that can lead someone from becoming a random prospect to a customer. But this is kind of representative of what we see a lot of the customer journeys actually looking like today. So in this example, on day one, Bree hears about the Madewell brand through a Facebook invitation from a friend. So this is a physical event in person. So she gets this invitation. She says, I'm interested and I'm going. And she ends up going to that event. And that's the first brand impression here. A couple days later, she follows their Facebook page and sees they have a couple videos on their page. So she watches those, which is valuable, brand impression, starting to get to know the brand a little bit more and become more familiar and comfortable with it. About a week later, she is browsing the Facebook. They pop up in her Facebook feed with one of their latest posts, and it links to their Instagram profile. So she checks out their Instagram account, likes what she sees, and follows them on Instagram for fashion inspiration. So now she's following them on 2 different social channels. A couple of days later, now they pop up. This post pops up in her Instagram feed about a upcoming holiday gift guide. So she clicks on that link and subscribes to the newsletter so that she'll get access to it when it comes out, which it does. 8 days later, she gets an email that says, hey, our gift guide is here. So she clicks on that email, heads to the website to check out what's in the gift guide. When she comes back a couple days later after browsing the gift guide on Black Friday, she notices that they have a really strong 35% off sale going on. So she uses the sale, picks out a couple things that she really likes, and places her first mobile order after coming to the site for the Black Friday sale. Now, about a little over a week later, she has received her order, and she likes it, she loves it, and she feels like, hey, maybe I should share this out with my friends. So she joins the Refer a Friend program, becomes an advocate, and tells her friends about her orders. And she'll get 20% off when anybody clicks through that link and buys. So now she has, in the span of 30 days, gone from an unknown prospect or potential customer to a customer, and then on to becoming an advocate, and hopefully a repeat customer down the line. So that's what we're seeing as far as the integration of social with other channels, maybe typically more traditional channels like email, like direct on-site marketing. So that's kind of how everything tends to play together in the real world now in 2017. So keeping that in mind, we're going to pull apart a couple of the concepts that I touched on later on. So there's 4 trends that we really see the focus areas being in 2017 as far as relating to social. The first is video marketing. The second is Snapchat, Facebook, and then Instagram. So I just want to touch on these a little bit because they're really important, they're really powerful, and this is really where the opportunity is in 2017. So first up, video marketing is huge. It's growing quickly. You'll see some of the stats here. People browse YouTube for things like some of those, I want to do moments like, Ryan and Antonio touched on. They browse YouTube for product reviews and things like that. So if your brand isn't creating YouTube, or doesn't have to be YouTube videos, creating any videos and using them, you're probably missing a big opportunity. I saw a statistic the other day that somewhere around 75% of all internet traffic is watching videos. So that's a huge chunk that you can tap into simply by making videos that are compelling about whether it's brand storytelling, whether it's just showcasing products, whatever the case is. Videos are super powerful, and it's quickly becoming the preferred way to consume content on the internet. So video marketing is going to be a big area to watch in 2017, and if you're not thinking about it, it's something you probably should be thinking about. Next up, Snapchat, so one of the fastest growing social networks, and one that obviously is seeing a ton of attention from people watch 10 billion videos a day on Snapchat, and they're building out really cool features in 2017, so things like geo-filters, better analytics, and it converts really well. So once you have engaged Snapchat followers, they convert at around 11% to purchases. I saw a statistic this morning, actually, in the Wall Street Journal. There was a story about Snapchat asking brands to commit anywhere between 100 and 200 million a year each in advertising. So Snapchat is obviously growing. The rocket ship is taking off, and the reason for that is there's so much attention there. So chances are your prospects are definitely on Snapchat, and it's something that you should think about building out. If you think Snapchat's not relevant, or you're struggling to find a way to, what would you make snaps about? You don't necessarily have to always be salesy and show off your products. You could show off your company culture. You could, show off maybe if you have like a mascot or something associated with your brand. You could build this channel around them. If you have a lot of newsworthy items, you could always include those in your snaps. So lots of different things. You could do Q&As in your snaps. So it doesn't have to always be super always focused about your products. So a couple of ideas there. Again, Snapchat really big and still growing really quickly. Facebook obviously is the 800-pound gorilla in the room when you talk about social media, and that's not going to change anytime soon. Obviously, tons of things you can do with Facebook ads. That's a really big opportunity right now where we see a lot of people investing and seeing a good ROI. Some of the more interesting things coming in 2017. So dynamic ads is one that's really powerful for e-commerce. It's basically kind of like a match made in heaven. So if someone is browsing certain products on your site, you can retarget them on Facebook showing those exact same products. That usually converts really well, and you'll get probably your highest ROI of any Facebook ad is going to be a dynamic retargeting campaign. Other things like Live 360 video is really cool, and Facebook Live also is something where people are really using that opportunity to get attention and show off new things. So maybe you have a new product coming out or something like that. Do a Facebook Live and answer questions on it, show it off, do a demo. Whatever you can think of is a great way to engage your customers, your audience, potential customers on Facebook, and gain more awareness from people that don't know anything about you yet. And then obviously Instagram. So the other one of the other biggest social networks out there. Instagram obviously growing quickly. They have tons of people on there, lots more attention. The average Instagram follower is anywhere between 10 and 30 times more valuable than the Facebook follower. So, for example, if you have 100 followers on Instagram, that's worth anywhere between 1,000 and 3,000 likes on Facebook. So the engagement level is just so much higher on Instagram. And it's all visual, so works perfectly for your photos, whether they're product photos, brand lifestyle images, or a combination of both. Putting those out on Instagram and getting people to look at those is really powerful. Obviously, there's things like Shop Now buttons with the Instagram ads that a lot of people are doing. I see a lot of Instagram retargeting going on right now, so if that's not something that you've thought about, it might be something that'd be worth looking into for 2017. Other things like stories and live video, again, similar concept to Snapchat here. So if you can come up with something that you could snap about, you could obviously just push the same thing over to Instagram. And then obviously ads is something that you always want to think about with Instagram. I think I touched on this a little bit already, but Instagram ads have the potential to reach a lot of people, and it's more engaging than Facebook ads because it's going to be a big, nice picture, or you can do a video for your Instagram ad. So definitely something that's going to be worth watching in 2017, and if you haven't thought about it, you should definitely think about doing more on Instagram. Next up, I want to cover personalization. So this is something that people have been talking about for years, and it's moved from something that's kind of cool, like the cherry on top, to something that's more expected and something that you need to have rather than like a nice to have. Amazon's been personalizing their homepage for probably 10 years or more now, so it's nothing new, and it's something that people have grown to expect. So personalization is one of those things that I feel like there's a lot of confusion about, but if you break it down, there's really only two things you need to provide a highly personalized experience. Number one is data. So you need to know, you need some kind of data point that shows that you know something about a person so that you can personalize. And then number two is you need a touch point where you can include that personalization data. So I'm going to touch mostly on data right now and then touch points in a little bit. So let's go ahead and look at that. So obviously, the question with data is how do you get it? Where does it come from? And two sources that I wanted to point out here. Social media is one. So if you use something like a social login button, like we see here over on the left, sign in with Facebook, that single button, so one click of that button can get you all of the data that you see here on the right. So things like your name, email address, demographic data, location data, advocacy, influencer data, you can pull all of that with one click without having to ask for it or get someone to fill out a form. So it's really powerful, and this is one big source where you can start gaining this rich data that you can use down the line to personalize. The second source is localization or geographic location data. So if you know somebody's physical location, you can personalize your experience based on what you know. So a couple of examples of that: if you know someone's where their home is, maybe based off their shipping address or something like that, and you recognize that they're not in that location, maybe they're 5 states away, now you can reasonably assume that they're traveling, and then you can customize and target your messaging based on that. Maybe your priority number one, if you notice that, is to help them find a store near them, if that's applicable. You can also do things like geofencing. A lot of people like to use weather data. So if you know the weather in that person's location, you can show a personalized message based on that. So localization data, again, another big source that you can use for personalization. The other thing that you have to talk about when we talk about personalization is we're really only on the tip of the iceberg here. So there's going to be a lot more built out around personalization over the next couple of years. Starting even now in 2017, that are much bigger shifts, than just using a data point or two to show a different message to somebody. So we call these smarter experiences, and it's really the combination and the viability of two separate technologies, really becoming mainstream. The first is artificial intelligence, and the second is augmented reality. So let's start with AI. So if you have an AI built into the back end of your e-commerce store, you can build an algorithm to personalize the experience based on many more things than just a couple of data points. You can build something that learns from all the shoppers that shop, and the more people that buy, it only gets better over time. It can be much more predictive to show products, categories, whatever that are most beneficial to your customers in real time. And then augmented reality comes in when you think about going beyond simple product photos on your site, right? So if you sell something like basically anything, maybe it's some kind of clothing item like jeans or something like that, where someone really wants to see it and see what it'll look like in real life, before actually buying it. Once AR is more commonplace, you can do that online without anyone having to go anywhere. So it's the whole try before you buy thing. So and then the combination a little bit further down the line, the combination between these two technologies is going to be really where everything ends up. So think about a personal shopper that works with you online, from the comfort of your own home, and not only are they helping you find the best products, but they can use the AR to help you try it on in real time, through virtual reality. So this is kind of where things are going. It's not quite there yet, but we've already started to see some development here. If you go to the North Face, they have a personal shopper powered by IBM Watson using AI. So if you want to see like a kind of a preview of what's to come, that's something that's pretty cool to check out. But there's going to be a lot more development here. So some of the things I mentioned here, but AI is going to be really big, once it really starts breaking into e-commerce. Now, until that's commonplace in a reality, obviously, still a couple years out from that really being, everywhere and the standard. Until then, you can't really do too, like if you want to integrate an AI into your website right now, you can't really do it. So what's the best, what's the best way to make your website better, until that's, super easy. So from our perspective, it's basically all about your on-site strategy and making sure that your mobile, user experience is as good as it can possibly be. So there's three things you need to know about mobile to really help you approach mobile the right way. So there's a lot of people freaking out over certain things that I don't think they really need to be too worried about. And if we just follow these three things, we should you'll be able to keep our head on straight. So the first is that mobile traffic requires more touch points for a conversion. So if you see your mobile traffic, for example, looking at this bottom image here, there's double the amount of 12 touch point conversions on mobile versus desktop, and similarly about half the number of single touch point conversions on mobile versus desktop. That's nothing to really worry about too much. It's just the nature of the device. So that's just something to know and keep in mind. Number two, and this is something that obviously everybody here has probably seen, and this, and that's mobile conversion rates are lower by nature. So this isn't necessarily something to freak out about. The sky is not falling when your smartphone conversion rate is much lower than tablet and desktop. So this is something I'm going to touch on this a little bit later, but just something to keep in mind. And the third thing, moving into user experiences a little bit, is that these pop-ups are really annoying. So undoubtedly, I wouldn't be surprised if everybody on this webinar right now has seen the infamous Forbes pop-up. That's really annoying, but I'm sure you've seen not only that, but a similar variation on a number of different websites, probably every day. So this is going back to what Ryan and Antonio touched on at the very beginning with the mobile interstitial Google penalty. So not only do we think this is annoying, but Google also thinks it's annoying now too. So this is any kind of a pop-up that shows up immediately after you tap over a Google search result on mobile device to your site is going to cause a penalty now. So you can't really do this anymore, and it's all about user experience. So this leads us to three keys that we need to keep in mind. So when you're optimizing for mobile, if we can just optimize for these three things, we'll basically be in a really good position, and we don't have to worry about anything else. So number one is going to be lead capture. So remember, going back, it's the nature of the game where mobile conversions just take longer to happen. It takes more touch points. So if you can capture a lead, so whether that's an email address, which is obviously the best case, second best would be a retargeting pixel, but really you want that email. So if you can capture that, then now you can continue following up, and maybe you can catch that user when they're on the desktop, more likely to convert, more likely to get them to come back again, because you're going to need those extra touch points. So capturing leads, email addresses on mobile is really important. Number two, to steal a little bit of Apple terminology. So handoff conversions on desktop is something that you need to optimize for and know that that's really what's happening here. So people aren't, it's not the case that people that are visiting your site on their mobile aren't buying and people that visit on desktop are buying. It's that there's a big segment of the audience that's visiting and browsing and discovering and learning on their smartphone, but then they're buying on desktop. So it's the same, it's the same audience. So again, like I said, it's not necessarily the end of the world if your mobile conversion rate is low, as long as they're coming back to buy on desktop. So optimize your site to make it really easy to pick up where you left off on desktop. So whether that's emailing somebody their cart, getting them to enter their email and save a couple products to their wish list maybe, and then emailing that so they can pick it up on desktop. So things like that are things you want to think about when optimizing for mobile. And then lastly, obviously, is the usability and user experience piece. So if you have pop-ups all over the place, really intrusive, and you're just turning people away from including things like that. The other downside to having pop-ups is, or the downside to disabling pop-ups and just turning them all off is now it's harder to capture leads. So you're really violating principle number one. So this actually leads us to a problem where it's kind of hard to capture those leads on mobile because you can't have the pop-ups because those will be penalized. But you need to capture the leads because those visitors might not convert without follow-up marketing. So that's kind of the problem that we see. And the solution for that is basically if you can create a way to run the same offers, the same promotions that you have on desktop, for example, on mobile without being intrusive, then that's really what the key is as far as making the most of mobile. So I'm going to show you guys what this solution looks like in the AddShoppers world. Obviously, there's many different ways to do it, but this is the one that we know best, so that's kind of the approach I'm going to take. But basically, the high-level ideas here that you need to be aware of is basically around keeping everything so it's all user-triggered, so you're not showing pop-ups and things without the user asking for it. So here's our solution. So something like this is an app that we built out. If you wanted to use something like this, you could through us. Obviously, you could try building it out or something like that. But I'm just going to let this is what we call the shopper portal, the animation here on the right kind of run a little bit, and I'll walk you through it. So when the page first loads, it opens up what we call the peak, which shows the offer, whatever you have called out, and then it collapses automatically so that it's not a bad user experience and it's compatible with Google. Then when you tap on it to open it up, you can put all of your offers inside of the portal, whether it's capturing emails, asking someone to join or refer a friend, anything like that. So all of your promotional offers are in one location, and it's centralized, and it's also non-intrusive. So it doesn't annoy people essentially. And so this is why it works. Again, these are the principles to keep in mind whether you build your own solution or whatever the case is. This is kind of the takeaways for this. So number one is it has to be user controlled. So Google's whole issue with pop-ups is that you're not asking for them. They just show up automatically. So if it's user controlled and the user has control, that's really the key for user experience that not just Google wants, but everybody wants. Number two, obviously, mobile friendliness, and then personalization, again, another piece that I already touched on. So if you can integrate that, then that's going to be the user experience that people are looking for. And then, again, touching on this again, but making sure it's non-intrusive keeps you safe, not just with Google, but you'll see higher conversion rates as well, just as a result of not bugging the crap out of people. A couple other things that are interesting. So again, I talked about personalization, wanted to touch on this again. So this is kind of bringing in the AI into the argument as well. So if you can load up all of your different offers in the back end and then let the AI decide which ones are going to convert best for which different visitor and decide where to show each of these offers. That's really the kind of the next step here that you'll see in 2017 as AI becomes more commonplace. And then just to show you guys kind of what we've seen with this from clients. So this one client here, Gentleman's Box, they get over 50% of their traffic from mobile, and when they used this approach, they lifted mobile conversions almost 3x, and they saw almost a 10% increase in conversion from site abandonment and this is all on mobile. So this approach is really powerful, and it's something that I recommend adopting if you really want to optimize the mobile experience. And with that, we'll go ahead and jump into questions. So again, while I'll give you guys a couple seconds or minutes to put your questions in now. While you guys are doing that, and I'm pulling up the questions here, just housekeeping notes again. If you joined late, this is recorded, so if you'll get the recording here probably later today, if not early tomorrow. So don't worry about that. And yeah, I think that's really it. So let me go ahead and jump into the questions here. And here is one from Robert. Robert, thank you for the question. The question is, how about responsive versus adaptive? And I think on this one, I'll let you guide. Do you guys want to take this one, Ryan or Antonio?
Yeah, definitely. Antonio here. So, in my perspective, responsive is the way to go. It actually, helps save work down the road. Although, depending on your current site setup, it may take a big development undertaking now. But in the long run, as it's been made clear that we're moving towards this mobile-first world, this mobile-first search landscape, this mobile-first purchasing pattern and buyer's journey, that this is going to persist. So, in that same sense, if it was my company, my website, I'd be moving towards a responsive design simply so that we don't have to deal with any sort of development issues, duplicating implementation across two versions of a website, or anything of the like. So truly responsive is the way to go here. Great question.
All right, awesome, cool. Next question from Ludovic, hope I'm getting your name right. Question about I want to know moments, and this is a good one for you guys to answer as well. How does Google choose which article will be shown in the box, and is it always the same?
Yeah, that's a great question. Falls right into my realm, and I think this is a question that many search marketers and SEOs out there are trying to ask themselves. And there are, depending on what that type of data is, whether it's a recipe, how-to steps, simple statistical information, whatever it may be, you can influence that through various types of schema markup and technical code you could do on the back end. But I think more importantly, it's about building out content that is easily consumed and is technically sound, not only for a user, but also for a search engine. And when I say technically sound, I mean it has proper header structure to help break down the topics living within any individual page. And then something as simple as steps. If we go back to my example of how to make waffles, or how to fix a scratch on your car, you'll see that it's listed out in a 1 through 6 step. And a lot of those how-to moments take that same format. So my best advice there would be one, write content that specifically address that question. That is, if it's a how-to question that you're trying to answer, write out, how to fix a scratch on a car. Write the content so that it's, shorthand and really easily understandable by a user that is putting out into steps or into a list. And then making sure that we're putting the right, markup around the page to get the right visibility back to that individual page. So it's definitely not if you check boxes A, B, and C, you get play in the answers box. You really just have to do all the right things. That is, write the content that it's consumable for users and the search engine technically. Have proper schema markup around pages that it makes sense. That is, if it's a recipe or a certain type of product or a certain type of statistical data. And then, make sure that you're promoting that content across various networks to get that sort of boost in site metrics that Google gives you that play. And, for those of you that are currently tracking how your company or your clients are performing in that arena, that there's a lot of fluctuation with those answers boxes. But for those of you that are not, I definitely suggest going out there and finding the right software to start tracking the performance of answer boxes that operate within your industry, And you'll see over time that there is typically a lot of fluctuation when it comes to those answer boxes. So, we see that as an opportunity for us to get some play in that space. And, we wouldn't be doing our job unless we'd be, gaining that success, recalibrating, testing, and then trying to keep a persistent positioning for that search term. So, great question.
Awesome, thank you. All right, next up, here I'll just answer this one. So question about the pop-ups, are exit or abandonment pop-ups going to be penalized as well? Good question, and the answer to that is right now, no. Google has not announced any plans to penalize abandonment pop-ups, although that may change in the future if they decide to roll this out, their targeting of pop-ups even further. But at least for now, for the time being, abandonment pop-ups are 100% fine. Hope that answers the question. Let's see. I'm just going to pull in a couple others here, and then because we're at time now, but we'll take a couple more. So if you have any questions, now is definitely the time to get those in before we have to wrap up. So let's see. Here's one that I think would be great for Antonio and or Ryan. So maybe kind of broad, but how much should we be expecting to pay per mobile click in AdWords?
Yeah, I'll take that one. That's a really good question. So it's going to vary by industry, right? E-commerce versus lead gen, and specific products as well. But I'd say on average, you can expect to pay roughly anywhere between 50 and 30% less per click than mobile. It's going to be really important, though, that you really hawk the data, right? So as you're running AdWords campaigns, or Bing campaigns for that matter, really check in day over day, week over week, month over month, to see what the data is telling you, and make those mobile and tablet bid adjustments as necessary.
Awesome, nice. All right, so last question here, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up unless anybody gets in a last-minute question. So let's see here. What's the best way to track mobile success with AdWords advertising, guys?
Yeah, this is always an interesting question. So Google claims that it can track cross-device conversions, and I don't think that's necessarily untrue. However, there have to be a variety of factors in play. Your mobile device and your desktop have to be sharing an IP address, or you have to be logged into your Google profile in both equipment. So it's going to be tough. You're going to get a lot of extremely valuable clicks via mobile. That's not always going to show you the direct conversion. But what you should really be looking at is your bottom line. If you're seeing that return on ad spend just increase week over week, month over month, that's really going to be your indicator. And there's going to be a lot of cross-pollination between device and desktop and tablet. Although unless you have really sophisticated tracking technology, a lot of that data is going to be unbeknownst to you. So, really just test, make sure that you're paying attention to your bottom line, and just kind of take it one day at a time, so to speak.
All right, awesome stuff. So that is it. We'll go ahead and wrap up now. Also, going back to the slide here, any questions that you guys have for any of us? You'll see our contact information there. Feel free to reach out, please do. If you're interested in learning any more about AddShoppers or Power Digital Marketing, couple links there that you may be interested in. And with that, I would like to thank everybody for joining, and also thanks to Antonio and Ryan for joining and sharing your insights.
Thanks, guys.
And this has been really great. And with that, we'll go ahead and wrap up. Again, you'll be getting the recording sent out shortly if you want to watch it again. And have a great day, everyone. Take care.
See ya.